As night falls in Singapore, the track starts to warm up, and it'll be red hot by the time we find out who's on pole for tomorrow's race. Time to set the grid then. Welcome along to qualifying here in Singapore.
Okay, let's have a comms check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Top 5 cars as things stand. The fastest lap at the moment, 1 minute 29.8. Sainz, Schumacher, Senna, Gasly and Doohan. That's...
That is pole, and by some margin. Well done.
Yes, thank you guys. Nice to see the old me back every now and then. Huh? Well done. Car was pretty damn beautiful.
Good effort, mate.
Main event will be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then. Marina Bay hosted a Grand Prix that briefly ran in the 60s and 70s, but the Garden City re-entered the calendar for good in 2008. We missed it for a couple of years, but it was great to come back to the Singapore Grand Prix. And here's our track, 4.94 kilometres long, and overtaking chances into the first corner, into turn 14 at the end of the Esplanade, and now into turn 16 in the newly reprofiled sector that we first ran on in 2023. Still though, it's punishing and tough on the brakes, and the heat and humidity will take an effect on our drivers. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Piastri, Russell, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and Tsunoda, Sainz, Verstappen, Michael Schumacher, and Charles Leclerc, Albon, Doohan, Esteban Ocon, and Lawson, Senna, Gasly, Isaac Hadjar, and Gabriel Bortoleto. Behrman and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And alongside me for the first time this season here in the commentary box, Naomi Schiff. Hello, Gnomes. So we're getting close to the start of the race. What will this driver be experiencing? Big nerves? Big excitement? What?
It certainly is a time leading up to the race where drivers feel quite nervous because that adrenaline is starting to build and it gets into your mind. So you've got to stay focused, try not to distract yourself too much. But I will say that it's once the formation lap starts, at least it was for me, that was a time where the nerves started to calm down and I got really honed in and focused on the start that was coming.
Okay, radio check. Radio check.
Radio check.
Okay, mate, only 3 races left and you've still got a chance at the title, but if we're going to win it, we're going to need some very special performances in every one of those 3, and it starts here. Let's see what you can do today. They're on fresh mediums. They're in 10th place.
You check mine.
Loud and clear. Oh.
Okay, radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now.
Max, radio check from the pit wall.
Yep, video check.
Loud and clear.
Okay, incredible parking there, nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the race starts. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights.